So today's topic is ecosystem and its type. First of all, we will see some of the few definitions which is used in understanding the ecosystem. So basic term is habitat. What is this habitat? The place where an organism lives is called its habitat. So let us suppose if a mouse is living inside the soil, then that is his place. If we are living inside our home, that is our place, that is our habitat. We can say that. So everybody is living in their room, so everybody has their independent habitat. And all those habitat, when we will combine, then it will become a community. So what is the community? The different species living in a habitat form a community. So if we will think about the Pantnagar as a habitat, then in Pantnagar, peoples also used to live, the cattle also used to live, the plants are there. So every species is living here. So it creates a community. And what is ecosystem? So the community with its natural surrounding is called an ecosystem. So what is the meaning of natural surrounding? So let us suppose in our natural surrounding there is sunlight, there is temperature, there is pressure, there is soil, there is air. So these are natural surrounding. So if the community is living with the natural surrounding, then it is ecosystem. Now, what is the biosphere? In the presentation, you can see that biosphere can be divided into three important parts. One is atmosphere, another is lithosphere, and hydrosphere. What is atmosphere? So whatever we are seeing on the surface of Earth, above the surface of the Earth, that is the atmosphere. And atmosphere generally consists of gaseous envelope. This is the gaseous envelope which is surrounding the Earth's surface. So for example, in the atmosphere there is nitrogen, there is oxygen, carbon dioxide, and many more gases you can imagine about. So those all constitute the atmosphere. What is lithosphere? So lithosphere is our soil and the rocks which constitute the earth crust. So basically lithosphere is related to our soil and beneath the soil. What is hydrosphere? So hydrosphere is hydro, that means related to water. So it is all the water supply to the earth which exists in either the liquid form, whether in vapor form, or whether in frozen form. So ice is also a part of hydrosphere. Our rivers is also the part of hydrosphere. Our ocean is also the part of hydrosphere. So these are the examples. You can see this is the image of Google Earth. The clouds which you are seeing here, certainly these clouds has formed in the atmosphere. This cloud is also the part of hydrosphere because it also constitutes some water molecules is present in these clouds. So this is also the part of hydrosphere. You see the blue portion, these all are the part of hydrosphere. And you can see the lands, these lands are the part of lithosphere. So our earth has all these three combined in a very hydrodynamic fashion. So atmosphere also consists of some water molecules. Lithosphere also consists of, in lithosphere you will get water also. So all these three are mixed in a very hydrodynamical fashion. How many types of ecosystem we have? So generally we have two type of ecosystem. One is natural ecosystem. So, and another is artificial ecosystem. That ecosystem which has been provided by God to us, which has not been prepared by any human on the surface of Earth. So almost 90%, 95% of all the ecosystems are given by God, by nature. So that is natural ecosystem. Natural ecosystem can be divided into two parts. One is the terrestrial ecosystem and another is the aquatic ecosystem. What is this terrestrial ecosystem? So terrestrial ecosystem is whatever we are seeing on the surface of Earth. For example, forest. We are seeing the deserts. We are seeing the grasslands. So forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem, grassland ecosystem, these are the examples of terrestrial ecosystem. What is aquatic ecosystem? So whatever we are seeing inside or on the surface of water. Aquatic ecosystem can be divided into two parts. One is freshwater, which is limnatic ecosystem, and another is saltwater, which is also known as marine ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem, where you will get, so in terms of rivers, in terms of ponds, lakes, these are example of freshwater ecosystem. And saltwater ecosystem, so you can give the examples, for example, ocean, estuaries, these are the examples of saltwater ecosystem. Freshwater ecosystem can still be further divided into two parts. One is the lentic ecosystem and another is the lotic ecosystem. Lentic ecosystem is that type of ecosystem in which water is stationary, water is not moving. For example, ponds. In ponds, water is not moving too much from one location to another location. That's why it is lentic. So stationary water is there in lake. That's why it is lentic, and another is lotic. Lotic, that means where the water is flowing from one point to another point. We have artificial ecosystem also, which is created by human beings. So for example, you consider an aquarium in which fish is there, some plants is there so that the fish can feed on it. Some more microorganism, fungi are there so that fish can live there. So that type of ecosystem where that fish is living with the support of human beings and which is artificially created by human beings, that can be the example of artificial ecosystem. Now we will come to component of ecosystems. Basically, there are two components of ecosystem. One is the abiotic component. Abiotic means which is not related to living, which is not related to which is not those component which is not living. For example, when we talk about water, when we talk about temperature, these are not living. They help to live, they help the living organism or the cells to grow, but they are only the factors. So temperature is a factor. So this is abiotic, which is not related to, which is not directly related to biology. And there is biotic component. So there are basically there are two components of ecosystem. One is abiotic component and another is biotic component. Abiotic component can further be divided into three parts. One is physical factor, inorganic substances and organic substances. These three constitute the whole abiotic component. For example, abiotic component is water. It is oxygen, carbon dioxide, light, humidity, temperature, atmospheric pressure, isn't it? So these all constitute the abiotic factor. In biotic factor, which has living and in which biotic components are those components in which there may be some, say, those type of components in which the reproduction system is possible. We can say something like this. So one is the producer, another is the consumer, and another is the decomposer. So these three constitute the biotic component of ecosystem. So producers, as you know, that all the green plants, which are also known as autotrophs, those are producers. Consumers, which depends upon the producers. For example, animals, humans, they depend upon the producer. That's why they are consumers. And decomposers are very important part of this biotic component, because they decompose all the waste product which is generated by human beings, or animals, or insect, whatever may be. So decomposers are very, very important. These decomposers are also known as detrivores or detritus. Now, we will come to a particular type of ecosystem, that is pond ecosystem. I am showing you here a pond ecosystem. So you consider this boundary as a pond. So water is there in the pond, and you see that how many different type of species. I am only showing you few of this, but you can guess many more. So you can see in this pond there are fishes also. There are some plants also. There are zooplanktons also, phytoplanktons also, and near the pond there is rooted vegetation also, isn't it? And for this pond, the sun is also there, isn't it? So, to help the creatures or the living things to develop inside a pond, many components are important, both biotic and abiotic. For example, sunlight which is coming to the pond, that sunlight gives the temperature, and temperature is a biotic component. Similarly, the temperature which is regulated inside the pond water, that is also a part of ecosystem, and that is the part of abiotic component. These phytoplanktons, zooplanktons, bacteria, these all constitute the biotic component. So without biotic component, without abiotic component, we cannot imagine the existence of biotic component. Isn't it? If abiotic component will not be there, the biotic component cannot be penetrate, cannot be exist on the surface of Earth. So we cannot imagine that without sun we can live. We cannot imagine without temperature, pressure, these things, water. We cannot live without water. We cannot live without soil. That is an integral part of our life. So those abiotic component helps us to live on the surface of Earth. And these abiotic components are very, very crucial, and it is very important. So in pond ecosystem, we were talking about pond ecosystem. In pond ecosystem, we can divide the pond water as per the depth, which is known as zone. So there are two zones. Basically, there are two zones in a pond ecosystem. One is limnatic zone and another is profoundal zone. What is this limnatic zone? So you can see if there will be sun, then in this part, in limnatic zone, the sunlight can penetrate up to some extent. isn't it? So if sunlight can penetrate up to certain level or up to certain depth of the pond, that depth, it can be told as limnatic zone. So in limnatic zone, sunlight presence is there. Amount of sunlight, some photons you can expect in this zone. But in profoundal zone, the sunlight doesn't able to reach. Or you can say that that is a dark place. No light is available in this zone, isn't it? So the type of organism, living organism, which will exist in this zone and which will be exist in this zone, that will be different. The other thing is that if some life is there in the profoundal zone, if he want to take energy, then certainly he have to come in the limnatic zone. So this is a dynamic process. In these two zones, the life get flourishing. Now we will discuss another ecosystem, that is grassland ecosystem. This grassland ecosystem is also known as terrestrial ecosystem. In the image you can see that there are a lot of grasslands is there. Big grasslands is there. In some of the countries you will find more area under grassland where the animals used to eat the grasses, and those animals finally, let us suppose cattle are feeding on these grasslands, those cattle will be used for some human purposes, for benefits, isn't it? So there are a lot of grasslands you will find in USA, in European countries. Big grassland is there. So there you will find maximum grasses in those areas, and these are the examples of grasses which I have shown you as producer. So Cynodon sp, this is a grass variety. Digitaria sp, this is a grass variety. Desmodium sp, this is a grass variety. Bracharia sp, this is a grass variety. So basically producers in the grassland ecosystem are the grasses, and the consumers are, there will be three type of consumer: primary, secondary and tertiary. In primary consumer, so what is the primary consumer? Which directly feed on the producer. So for example cow, for example deer, if they are directly feeding on the producer, or they directly depends upon this producer for their food, then it is primary consumer. What is the secondary consumer? So secondary consumer are those consumer which depends upon the primary consumer. For example, snakes, so and fox, etc. What is the tertiary consumer? Which depend upon the secondary consumer. So these are the, and certainly there will be also be some microorganisms in the ecosystem. So grassland ecosystem, basically it consists of grasses and these type of consumers and decomposers. Now forest ecosystem. In forest ecosystem, so in grassland ecosystem, you will only find grasses as the producer. But in forest ecosystem, you will find trees also. So there is a four-tiered stratification of vegetation in a forest, namely tree layer, shrub layer, herb layer, and ground layer. And what are the primary consumers? So herbivorous animals like rats, ants, grasshoppers, these will be the primary consumers. Secondary consumers, you can name all the animals in the forest, all are secondary consumers. And certainly the eagles and hawks, which feed on the dead bodies of living organism, they are the tertiary consumers, and decomposers, these bacteria and fungi, they are basically the decomposers. Now, this is a very brief introduction I have given you about the ecosystem and few of its type. Now we will discuss some of the news which has come about the ecosystem. So we have discussed the ecosystem very ideally, that in for example in grassland ecosystem there must be producer. The health of producers should be good. There is consumers. The health of consumers and the population of consumers should be appropriate so that it can feed on the producer. Then we have talked about the decomposers. There must be decomposer which must feed on the waste product and they can decompose. But what is the reality where our ecosystem is moving? Whether our ecosystem is moving towards the sustainable development or it is not so. So I will give you some of example. I think it will be clear to you from these examples what is the situation. So one of the news I have collected from The Guardian, which was published, this news was published on 6 May 2019. And the news was human society under urgent threat from loss of Earth's natural life. So you can understand the severity of the problem. Human society under urgent threat from loss of Earth's natural life. So The Guardian wants to say from this news, he has studied and he has published many studies related to this news, and he has stated that whether it is the coral reef, whether it is the rainforest, so all have destroyed at a rate 10 to 100 times higher than the average over the past several years. And it was the report which was prepared by UN Global Assessment Report. The same report also tells that the biomass of wild mammals has fallen by approximately 82%. So you can understand, natural ecosystem has lost about half their area and 1 million species are at risk of extinction. So whatever we have discussed, that every factor, biotic, abiotic factors, and those should be present in the ecosystem. Everybody has a value, every animal has a value, every microorganism has a value. But as per the report, you can think that several thousand species are under danger. They will not able to survive in the coming future. So certainly if they will not able to survive, then it will impact the whole ecosystem. The humans, other animals, those all get affected by that. The same report also tells that a planet in which the human footprint is so large, it leaves little space for anything else. 3/4 of almost all land has been turned into farm fields, covered by concrete, sallowed up reservoir. The report also said that 2/3 of the marine environment, it has been destroyed. How it has been destroyed? So in that marine ecosystem, the humans has gone there. They have started fish farming. They have started the shipping route. They have started the subsea mining. So these finally affect the ecosystem of the marine. So what happens? What was the result of it? More than 5 lakh species have insufficient habitat for long-term survival in the marine ecosystem. Another news from the Guardian, which was published in 23 April 2020, it is stated that insect number down 25% since 1990. And it was published in one of the report. The report says that almost 25% of the total insect which is living on the surface of Earth in the past 30 years, they have decreased. They are not no more on the Earth. So what is the importance of insect? Insects are very, very important living being for any ecosystem. Insects help in pollination. So if there will be no pollination, so we cannot expect the spread of forest or plants on the surface of Earth. We cannot expect the honey which we get from the honeybees. So it has already reduced up to 25%, and all due to the anthropogenic regions. One of the news which has published, it is that 40% of world's plant species at risk for extinction. So 40% is not a small figure, it is a very big figure. If 40% of world plant species, it is not surviving, then you can understand what is the situation and what will be the situation on the surface of Earth in the coming 50 years. One of the news which has published in the Guardian, the same Guardian, in 12 October 2020, so it states that 1/5 of countries at risk of ecosystem collapse, and the analysis they have got from the analysis, it states that 1/5 of the world's country are at risk of their ecosystem collapsing. So ecosystem is going to collapse. So in your surrounding, have you got some creatures, have you got some birds, something like this, which you used to see, or which your father, your forefather used to see, that bird exists, but now that bird you will not able to see. For example, a sparrow. Yeah, you talk about the sparrow, that a sparrow you will not able to find out now. Or it is only localized to some regions. So what happens with that sparrow? You have given excess fertilizer to the crops. Those birds have sit on those crops, they have feed on that, and finally, due to some illness, they have died. And slowly and gradually their population has extincted. So that was a collapse. That is a collapse. You can understand that so this process, the ecosystem can get collapse. And it is the very latest news, which was published in 12 October 2020. One of the news which I have collected from this Deccan Herald, India's coastal marine ecosystem facing destruction, says environmental organization. So if we will talk about the marine ecosystem and the coastal ecosystem, it is very important. And in India, if you will imagine, then it is 42,808 kilometers of marine ecosystem and coastal ecosystem you will find, which is diverse in so much long stretch. And these coastal ecosystems and marine ecosystems, they basically constitute of estuaries, mangroves, sandy beaches, mud flats, lagoons. So all these constitute the marine ecosystem. In marine ecosystem, what is the use of this? So they are known for their high biological productivity, which provide a wide range of habitat for many aquatic flora and fauna. But these marine ecosystems, they are now damaging, or they are facing destruction due to human interferences. One of the news from Financial Times, you can analyze this in terms of economy also. So what this news said? This news said that environmental damage cost India approximately 80 billion rupees a year. So you can imagine, if we will damage, or if the damage of the ecosystem or the environment will be at a good pace, then we have to also evaluate it in terms of money. So we are damaging our resources, we are damaging our natural resources at a rate of 80 billion US dollar per year. Annually, this is the damage which we are causing to the environment. So how we are causing this type of damages? How they have evaluated, how they have calculated it, something like this. For example, you take example of this. So let us suppose you think about a small region in which there is a lot of forest was there, trees were there. And due to human development, or due on the name of human development, we have cut those all trees. What will happen? Initially, that tree used to provide us oxygen. That tree used to provide us the food. Those trees, those forests give us the medical or the medical species which is helpful for our development. For our, they can cure our illness. If due to some development process we have cut all the trees, certainly we will not able to get it in the future. And if those can be calculated in terms of economy, that how much we have lost by cutting all those trees, if we will evaluate it, then it can come into the economical terms. You can calculate what the economical loss you have. So Financial Times, and you can understand the news is of 2013. So in 2013, Financial Times, they have reported that our environmental damage was 80 billion rupees a year. So it is not a small figure, it is a very big figure. And if you will see in 2020 what is the status, certainly this status will be more than this economical value which has been calculated here. So these examples I have given you to understand that what is the present situation of ecosystem, whether our ecosystem is flourishing or our ecosystem is damaging. Certainly you will find that our ecosystem is not, any ecosystem is not flourishing. Whether it is the ocean, inside the ocean, it is coral reefs, it is the grassland ecosystem, it is the pond ecosystem, you name any and you will find that everything is damaging. You take the example of pond ecosystem. If there are lot of agricultural field around the pond ecosystem, then certainly from that agricultural land, lot of pesticide, insecticide, they are coming into the pond water. Those insecticide, pesticide, fertilizers, they are helping in eutrophication. And when eutrophication will happen, certainly the amount of oxygen which should be present in the water, that will not get present. And if the dissolved oxygen in the pond ecosystem, it will not up to the desirable level, then what will happen? The aquatic plants, the aquatic animals, they will die. They will not survive there. So how we have linked it? We have linked it with the agricultural practices. Similarly, you can think of many activities. For example, if there is some metal industry which is near to a pond ecosystem, do that industry is harming the pond ecosystem? Certainly, the answer will be yes. He is damaging. If there is some mining area is there, can that mining area is hampering the pond ecosystem? You will able to relate. You will able to find out whether it is harming or not. So, in other words, the human activities, the human race is so fast that we are not seeing our ecosystem. We are not seeing that what the God has given for the survival of humans and other animals. We are destroying it, and the result is that the same human is also finding that we are destroying the ecosystem at a very fast rate. Now we are realizing, but we are only realizing, we are not doing anything else for their survival. So if you will go on the mountains, you will get some changes. If you will come in on the plain land, you will see the destruction. Everywhere there is some activity which is going on, and finally those all activity, in one or other words, they are destroying the ecosystem. So we are trying to convert, as we have discussed in the lecture, there are two types of ecosystem. One is natural ecosystem and there is artificial ecosystem. We are destroying the natural ecosystem and we are trying to get converted into artificial ecosystem. But the artificial ecosystem will remain artificial. It will not act like natural ecosystem. It can never act like a natural ecosystem. And that is the problem which in the coming future the next generation will face. What the next generation will see? They will see that the natural ecosystem which used to exist, they slowly and gradually they have converted into artificial ecosystem. And in artificial ecosystem, what is there? There is parameters, temperature sensor, there are humidity sensors, and they are used to regulate the ecosystem. So this type of changes which is taking place for a long time, that is very dangerous for human beings. So that's all from my side today. So thank you very much.